Alright, what's going on YouTube? FXDLSBROOKLYN is back in the building. And as you can see, we are with a very familiar bike today. This is none other than Nick Dyna Navy's OG FXRT build coming out of Long Island. And of course, we got him on my bike, Nick Dyna Navy, back in the building, crushing it. Woo! 2 FXRT fairings. And yeah, man, shout out to his sweet Challenger as well, man. Let's start this thing up. Woo! The subtle differences. Yeah. Dude, look how low my bike is sitting. I should have adjusted the suspension. He's definitely got some height and some weight on me. But yeah, you know, a lot of you who have been watching my channel since the early days, you'd see me ripping around with Nick back in 2017, 2018, before my FXRT days. And a lot of people would ask, like, dude, we want to know how his bike rides. Because again, he was one of the OGs to be running an FXRT fairing on a Dyna before the whole FXRT trend happened. Dude, suburban rippers right now, man. The suburbs are not ready for this. Yeah, so he was one of the OGs, he was one of the trailblazers here on the East Coast to be running this type of fairing on a Dyna. So it has been requested that we do a ride and review video on his bike. And today we just shot the episode 3 of the Lowdown series, which is featuring none other than Nick Dyna Navy. So yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of comments about this bike and specifically what he's running, etc. So I will drop the Lowdown episode 3 on this bike just so you could get a full lowdown, which is why we call it that, on all the parts that he's running, all the engine work he's done, etc. Everything you need to know about this bike. This video is more just going to be my first impressions on his bike, specifically in comparison to my Lowrider S up there that he's riding. How this build on a 2015 Street Bob could be a little bit different from what I'm running on a 2016 Lowrider S. And I can tell you that off the bat, there are some very significant differences between our bikes. Dude, I don't know, Nick. I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you this bike back, man. I am very much enjoying your bike right now. Woo! Good stuff, man. Those zippers cams. I'm definitely digging it. Alright, so yeah, first impressions, man. I think one of the things I noticed off the bat, his bike has definitely got my bike beat significantly in terms of stopping power. I feel like I could stop this bike on a dime.
They say it adds about 33% braking power. You could feel it, definitely. It's not just one of those things that they say is going to work but doesn't. It's a good upgrade.
So whatever he's running in terms of rotors, which is I think those like giant floating rotors or whatever they're called, plus whatever brake pads he's running, he definitely did a great job, because I could easily bring this bike to a full stop with one finger. And yeah, I definitely noticed off the bat it's way easier to stop this bike than it is to stop my Lowrider S up there. So that's like one of the big differences I've noticed so far. Now, in terms of performance, you know, we haven't really been on too many straightaways. I haven't really gotten on it. I also don't necessarily want to get on it. You know, if I'm riding, I generally try not to ride other people's bikes, and if I do, I want to be considerate, so I'm not trying to redline my buddy's bike. But I could definitely say, in terms of performance and the pickup that this thing has, I feel like the best way I could describe what I'm noticing is it feels smoother. It feels way smoother than my bike when you get on the throttle. And that's the best way I could describe it. It's not like, it's hard to say if one is more powerful than the other because they're both 110 engines with cams. He's got the zippers, I have the SNS 585. So it's kind of hard to like really talk about power. I'm sure they're really close. But in terms of getting on the throttle, I feel like there's a smoother response with how he has it set up. The other biggest difference is, man, he's got this like digital gauge, all this information up in my face. Man, I feel like if I had this in front of my face at all times, I feel like I would be crashing my bike. But I do like having the gear like that so clear. So it's nice to know, like, okay, I'm in second gear. But then there's like a bunch of other stuff in here. It's like telling me my my heart rate. It's telling me my oxygen levels. It's telling me how much sleep I got last night. Personally, while I'm just trying to not die out here, it's it's a lot of information. The next thing I noticed is the sound. These bikes couldn't sound any more different. Now, his bike does sound very familiar to me because before, in my early days, I did run a Thunderheader on my bike. So to me, like, yeah, like this kind of sounds like home. You know, it's like, oh yeah, all my Thunderheader days. And I could feel it too. In terms of the sound, like I could totally hear the difference of having a pipe that is a longer pipe where you're getting all that sound behind you, whereas my Fab 28, I feel like it's like right next to me. Sick. Sick. The next thing I notice about his bike is when I let off the throttle, I'm getting a lot of vibration on the bars to the point where it's like I'm looking in the mirrors and it's like all types of blurry because there's so much vibration. So I don't know if that's because just the way I ride and I'm generally running in high RPMs at all times, that's just my riding style, or if that's something with the way that he has it set up. But my bike doesn't, I feel like I don't get that level of vibration on my bike when I'm getting off the throttle. And we, of course, are going to Jones Beach, one of our favorite routes. Nice OBI run, which I figure is a nice one to do when switching bikes. Whoa, oh yeah, that's that Legends dialed in properly. Nicely done, Nick, nicely done. That's what we're working with. Alright, alright. Dude, that is nice, man. So yeah, the next thing I definitely notice out of his bike is the suspension for sure. It's funny, man, because again, he's definitely got some weight on me, but I'm actually really happy with how his suspension feels for me. And again, my bike over there, when he's riding, that's set up for a dude that is 145 pounds. So he's probably having the opposite experience that I'm having right now, where I can look back and I can see him sagging into every turn, where for me, I just kind of feel like I'm floating on this thing. So my impression and my reaction to that is, I don't know, guys. I mean, I love my Legends Revo A's on my bike. I really do love that suspension. But feeling how this feels right now, and again, he did take the time to dial it in, this feels so good. Like hitting a curve like this, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, so he's definitely got that suspension dialed in. That's feeling real good. And yeah, dude, bike is... It feels, there's definitely some familiarity in terms of like how it's going to perform in 5th, 6th gear, etc. Because again, we're both running 110s with cams. But again, I'm really just seeing like how having different cams really does affect the performance. And I see him very much enjoying my bike, which is good. Oh yeah, dude. So now let's talk about the fairing. So yeah, I just looked down and realized I was doing 50 miles per hour, and it kind of felt like I was doing 60 miles per hour. So again, that's just a normal aspect of running an FXRT fairing. It is designed for you to sit at high speeds comfortably. And again, we have this on a Dyna frame, so we're not sacrificing any of the nimbleness in terms of getting into turns, in terms of getting into twisties, etc. You still have the nimbleness of a Dyna, but you can rip high speeds and just sit on it and basically kick back and relax like you're watching SpongeBob SquarePants on a Monday afternoon. And Nick, buddy, I'm sorry that I forgot to take the sissy bar off that off my bike. I did have to run some errands with Jen this morning. That's why we had that on there. I just got too excited, man. I'm sorry. I got too excited. I forgot to take the sissy bar off. But yeah, so he's running a little bit of a different situation than I am in terms of the windshield. So he's got that Clockworks windshield, which my buddy Old Man Armstrong is a really big fan of. Whereas for mine, I'm just running the stock windshield that comes with the RWD fairing, which has worked for me pretty well. But I don't know, guys. I'm really enjoying this Clockworks windshield right now. The wind distribution, I basically feel like I'm getting zero wind hitting my helmet right now. Whereas with the way that I have it set up on my bike, I'm definitely getting a little bit of wind for sure. Now the next thing I have to tell you guys about this bike is, oh my god. Dude, I cannot believe how comfortable this Lapera kickflip seat is. I thought I had found the most comfortable, cool looking seat on the market, which is your Saddlemen SDC Pro for Dyna. But dude, I'm sitting on this kickflip right now, and the amount of cushion that I'm feeling on this thing, I gotta ask him about this, man. I feel like I'm sitting on a couch with this thing, so I'm very, very impressed by this seat that he chose to run. And as we pass one of the most iconic Long Island monuments on a bike that has 516 all over it, which if you don't know, that's our Nassau County area code. Shout out to Long Island. As we go through the most treacherous traffic circle in the New York State. Ah, we made it. No one died. Woo! Damn, Nick. That suspension. I don't know, guys. I think I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna give Legends a call, man. Yeah, I'm gonna call up Legends and be like, dude, I need those arcs for my Dyna. I got them on my 06, I just don't remember them being this good, because again, I don't think I ever took the time to actually dial them in properly. I kind of just put them on the bike and called it a day. Dude, I really dig this little, you guys probably can't see it, but this little digital gauge he's got down here is telling you all your information about your fuel capacity and everything. It's like kind of impossible to play the gas game on this bike. It's like if you're being given that much information about how much gas you have left, it's like you have no excuse to ever run out of gas. Now the next thing I bet you guys are wondering about is this bar setup. Dude, you guys know I'm a shorter dude, 5'7", right? I rock my Lucky Dave's 13-inch, and that feels pretty good to me at most times. Nick over here, he's up on a 15-inch. This also feels really good. Who would have known? So I mean, it's kind of good to know that if I wanted to, I could comfortably go up to 15 inches. I don't think I would. I feel like 13 inches is my happy place in terms of being able to throw my bike around the way I want it to. But in terms of just an open cruise like we're doing right now, just sitting back and cruising, this is really comfortable, you know? Like if I was sitting on a road like this all day, I think the 15-inch would actually be preferable. Oh yeah, dude, I bet you he's bottoming out on those, man. I'm gonna have to ask him his experience on my super soft suspension when we get off. But this bike is handling the bumps of Ocean Parkway like a champ. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really know what else to say besides those key points. His bike absolutely rips. I think he did an excellent job with this build. I mean, the performance on this bike, I feel like, is just kind of scratching the surface. To really get the whole experience of this bike, I think you really need to see it visually, because this bike is just so aesthetically pleasing with all the paint that he's done and all the engraving on the engine. He's done a lot of things that you just don't really see too often on the East Coast that I feel like makes this bike a really special bike. But dude, I'm very happy on this bike, man. Like I said, I feel like I don't want to give this back to him. I'm having such a good time just cruising on this thing. I wish you all could sit down on this bike right now and feel how good this thing feels set up. But basically my takeaways from getting this ride in on Nick's bike is I might consider a Clockworks windshield just because this feels really good. That's one thing. I think I'm definitely going to consider the new Legends Revo Arcs on this bike and put it on my bike because, yeah, it's definitely stiffer. It's not as squishy, but it feels comfortable in a different way. So I don't know, man. It might be worth checking out. And then, yeah, you know, this is a true East Coast monster, man. Congratulations to my friend Nick up here on an amazing build. He's been working on this thing since 2015, and I think it shows. Also, shout out to Nick for trusting me to ride this bike. He's definitely got a lot more money sitting in this bike than I have in mine, so I do appreciate you trusted FXDLSBROOKLYN to take care of this beautiful machine. And also, final shout out to Nick, because you've probably seen it in a couple of my videos at this point, but I've been having an issue with the kickstand on my bike for a long time where it hasn't been coming all the way down. And he saw that and he was like, yeah bro, I see the issue. You're running the wrong kickstand. You're running that Amazon nonsense. He busted out this kickstand from Drag Specialties. We laid my bike down on the crash bar. We didn't even throw it up on a jack. Took full advantage of the crash bar. And he installed my new kickstand, and it's been the first time I've had a working kickstand on my bike in a long time. So thank you, Nick, for providing me with a kickstand that's not going to drag and drag sparks behind me and then have my friends yell at me because I'm distracting them. But that's all we got for this one. As you can hear in my voice, I'm just having too much fun on this bike. The day is still young out here. Spring in the East Coast. We pay the iron price. We get out there in the ice and the snow, so we bask in the glory of these early spring days. But if you haven't checked out the Lowdown episode number 3 with featuring Nick and this build, by all means, go check it out. And you can learn more about this bike and specifically what he's running and his ideas behind it, more than me just sounding like a giddy child on a new toy. As always, thank you for watching. Check out Nick and what he's doing on his Instagram, which is Nick Dyna Navy New. I hope I said that in the correct order, as well as Clubstyle East Coast. If you want to see some of the different builds that people are running out here on the East Coast, definitely check it out. Stay safe, stay low, embrace a positive mental attitude, listen to the bad brains, and on that, FXDLSBROOKLYN is out. Dude, I said in the video, it's like I'm not gonna want to give it back to him. It's so good, man.
Dude, it took me a minute to get used to your rear shocks. I was bouncing.
Dude.
And when you went really ahead of me, I was trying to keep up. I was like, damn, I feel like I'm almost failed.
Well, you'll see it in the video because dude, I'm only 145 pounds. So that's what it's like. How heavy are you?
About 230.
Yeah. Dude, so you're putting 100 extra pounds on that bike, and I'm looking at you, and it's like the gorilla sitting on the little tricycle. I'm like, dude, I feel so bad that he's sinking into it.
Great. It just took me a minute to get used to it.
But once you got used to it, it was okay? Yeah.
Because I set mine to stiff, probably because I usually ride 2 up, but...
That's set to 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I should dial that up a little bit.
Well, it's, I mean, like I said, it got comfortable after a while. I was like, oh, it's actually, like, the bounce back felt good. But I just got scared when I was trying to corner too quick. I was like, I feel like I'm going to fishtail out.
How is it different than this?
It's pretty similar. I mean, it's pretty much the same exact setup. I mean, we have the same motor, basically.
That's what I said, yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty damn similar. The only difference for me was the rear shocks. That's it.
Yeah, the rear shocks.
Definitely definitely find neutral a lot easier on your bike.
On my bike? Yeah. Yeah, I mean the biggest difference, yeah, you got the rear shocks that you're sinking into. You also clean your bike. Dude, good stuff, man.